What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie Dow today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are on this, the 18th of April. I just made a post on X.com that I sold some Cookie Dow here at these prices. I actually just made a video. While I was making the video, like not even 5 minutes into the video, I'm like, I should probably sell. I'm like, by the end of this video, the price might go down lower. I'm expecting that it does go lower, so I'm like, I'm just going to put this video on pause and actually just do a sell, and then I'll talk about it here on this video, so we're wasting less time. I don't know if it feels like a waste of time, but this is definitely a lot less time wasted than it would have been on the other video. Here we are at about 9.22 cents now. We had the move up. It looks like we were making this move up. You were breaking out of this consolidation phase, right? But you had no volume to follow through. The volume did come in, however, but it was on the effect of selling, right? All this selling pressure here, this big wick to the upside. I think this is a bull trap of sorts, and you're going to see prices that are likely even below this low here. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but the fact that we made this little move up here, I bought down, I forget exactly what price, but I know I bought around these lows, and then I sold this relative high. It's not the biggest move ever, and I'm still holding a good bit of Cookie Dow. I have not sold all of my Cookie Dow at all. It's just a small trading position, but hey, I'll take a 10% growth. It's probably less than 10% even, but the reason why I sold is because I'm pretty convinced now, where I was less convinced before, that we will see lower prices. I think we will work our way ultimately down from this relative low to this relative high, down to the golden ratio at about 8.16 to 7.94 cents, somewhere in that zone there, and that's where I'll be buying. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I'm expecting that we see the price down here, and that's where I'll be buying. If we see something different take place, if on a 4-hour basis we can close up above this red line, I will FOMO back into this thing. I'll buy in at higher prices because we're about to rocket to new highs, man. And I think that we are. I think we're on our way there inevitably. But for the time being, it certainly seems as though we're going to go down. The 4-hour RSI here has a higher high in the RSI while having a lower high in the price. Yes, this is a higher high here, but on a closing basis, it's a lower high, and that's what the RSI goes off of is a closing basis. So I think that this hidden bearish divergence, as it's called, rejecting the 60 area in the RSI, sets you up to go back down to the 40 or even below, right? So this kind of movement, that maneuver there, could definitely set you up for some lower prices relative to this low here, and that's what I'm expecting. Just going from the 0.5 to the 236. It's a double form of resistance. The golden ratio, it's like you're meant to go down there. So I think that's where you're going to go. Again, 8.1 cents, 7.9 cents, somewhere around there, right? Somewhere right around 8 cents, just above, just below, whatever. And then from there, we're going to continue building, Cookie. We're going to continue building. I think the AI narrative, you guys, the more that I read into the AI narrative for crypto, for stocks, for the world, we're at that point in time where things are getting set up to be integrated heavily, and we're and maybe not this year, but over the years to come, and especially over this next decade. I think that it's, and I mean this cycle, this year, these months right now, like I really think that we're set up to see some fantastic growth. We're in that like bubble hype cycle phase for the AI narrative, and I think that Cookie will be one of those coins that leads the way in overall kind of expansion and growth. It's at a very low market cap, this thing, Cookie Dow, being boring. It's been very boring over the past couple of days. And even still, you're getting tremendous, phenomenal volume. $11 million on a $41 million market cap. That's phenomenal. There's a lot of interest in this thing. There's some trading going on, some buying and selling going on. And I'm assuming that whenever we've had our fill, when the buyers have had their fill, the sellers have had their fill, we're going to see a rapid recovery to the upside. What do I mean by sellers have had their fill? When there's less sellers, right? When the buyers have had their fill, whenever they've, well, I guess maybe not whenever they've had their fill, to be honest. What sends the price up is not that the buyers have had their fill, it's that there's more buyers coming in, actually. So maybe it is once the sellers have had their fill, that's when we'll move up, if we're being technically correct here. But I digress. From a relative low here to relative high, where are we going to move, right? We're seeing a standard retracement now, bouncing out of the golden ratio zone. The next target area, it's very common, even when you're working your way down, it's very common to find support at the golden ratio, find resistance at the 0.5 and go down, find resistance at the 382 and go down. It's also common whenever you're finding your way up, and this is where it gets tricky, to find resistance at the 0.5, find support at the golden ratio and go up, find resistance at the 382, find support at the 0.5 and then go up. So neither of these rejections are going to set us up necessarily for the downside. It's not definitive, but it's something to be aware of, right? You don't want to go back below this golden ratio. If I really had to guess, I don't think we're going to hit the 0.5 and come come back to the golden ratio. I don't think so. I think when we move up from here, we're going to be detaching from this downward sloping trend, and we'll get a nice pop. We'll probably go to the next area of resistance, which was right here, maybe even above the 382, go right here, right? And that's fine. When we're up here, we'll be in a position to find support at prior areas of support, prior areas of resistance. Maybe we go down to the 0.5, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but I think we'll be working our way up inevitably to new all-time highs. Inevitably, when you do close above 35 cents, this 236 here, that red line, you close above there on a daily basis. That validates the notion that this is the low. It validates the notion that you are, in fact, going to see an extension based off of this move, okay? Whenever you take a relative low to high and you come down, you retrace however low it is to the 382, the 0.5, the golden ratio, the 886, whatever it is, when you come all the way back up and you close specifically above the 236, that implies that you will see an extension now of the next move up, right? Instead of continuing to retrace here. Because you can do this where you find some support here, you go all the way up here, you find resistance at the 236, you can do some weird stuff, man, and inevitably still go down, right? But if you close above the 236, the odds of you going lower, they're just a lot less likely. The odds of you going above this high, it's a lot more likely. So getting above 35 cents, incremental, and seeing new all-time highs, right? The all-time high areas that we'd expect, again, I was saying we'd see extensions off of this move. That would take you to $1.65 at a minimum. $1.65. Potentially prices that are around $4 or even at least above $2. This is the expectation, right? I know it sounds crazy because what this thing's at 9.2 cents right now. I know that sounds like crazy growth, but man, it's these kind of coins that have a $41 million market cap and are maintaining significant, sizable, desirable volume, even whenever you're being boring, absolutely boring for weeks on end, and you're seeing decent volume. You've got a lot of volume coming in at these lows. I wonder what's going on. It rhymes with accumulation. There's probably some accumulation going on here. At the golden ratio of your overall low to high, I just can't help but think that we're at a prime area to buy, and I think I'm not the only person that thinks that. There's some other people interested, it seems. When we do move up, the expectation would be $1.65 at a minimum, $2.40 is the next area. If we look at this as a bull flag, which I don't know, is it a bull flag? Isn't it a bull flag? I don't know if it is. I don't know how it'd go about. Let's maybe on a 3-day time frame it'll look a little bit more obvious. I don't know if I would call it a bull flag, but it might behave similar to one. And what I mean by that is we might see a similar move to what we saw that brought us up to our current all-time highs at 84 cents there. I think being that we hit 84 cents, this next move up will crush $1. We break above $1, that psychological level of resistance, the next target area being 65 cents, it just makes sense. So, or $1.65. That takes us from the current price of about 9.18 cents, takes us up to about a 17.6x at a minimum. 17.6x at a minimum. If you stop at $1, which is possible, but I doubt, if you stop at $1, maybe it's only an 11x at a minimum. But using the fib, 17x at a minimum. If you go above the 1 for 1 for, which I think you really stand a chance to do, that could be a 27x, 28x. And again, this overall move here was a 42x, right, from a low to a high. It was a 42x, you guys. So talking about this, I know it seems crazy, but we've done crazy things. And with this kind of volume, with that low liquidity, this really does have a good chance of being a shining star in the crypto space on this next move up here. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw prices that were even around or above $4. We could see a larger move up than the last move, but I don't know, right? I'm just trying to stay grounded with my 18x prediction, right? Or even an 11x prediction at $1 there. I just can't help but think that we're going to see a multi-dollar price whenever it comes to the end of this move. The end of this move is expected to be by the end of June. Maybe it bleeds into July, but I think it will be sometime in June that we see this move come into fruition. And it's going to be very similar to this. That's the expectation overall. We'll consolidate again and then finish up the year. Maybe we'll have one last pump or two more pumps, however it looks, and we'll be worth, I don't know, anything from $10, more than that. We could see some crazy growth, man. Being here, let's just call it about 10 cents. 100x would put you at $10. 100x would put you at about 4 billion. Am I doing that right? You'd probably, if you moved up a little bit more, you'd probably have like a 40, let's just call it a $50 billion market cap. 50 billion times 100. That would put you at, yeah, because if you had a 10 cent price, 100x would be $10. You're going to be worth more than $10, man. More than $10 by the end of the cycle. I think you have a chance of seeing $10, but I don't think you stop there. I think you'll be worth more. You have a chance of seeing $100, man. Like genuinely. That's crazy. I forget how crazy this thing is, man. That's why I invested in it, though, is that it is absolutely nuts. By the end of this year, I would be surprised if you're not above $10. I would be absolutely surprised. I think $20, a little bit above $20, is a very likely outcome, even as high as $46. I don't know. I don't really believe that you go all the way up to $100 or $90, something like that, but you do have targets there. That would be a lot of growth. That'd be an insane amount of growth, but it's very possible. Okay. I mean, we're talking about a 1000x at that rate, right? It's very insane, but I suppose it depends on how much growth we see here. If by the end of this next move we're above $4, it's very possible we could see $100 or around there by the end of the cycle. If we're at the areas that I'm expecting, which is about like 250 to $1.65, then likely we don't go above $46. I think that this 46 to a $20 area, that's the likely area that we stop by the end of the cycle. But man, this thing is crazy, crazy low in the market cap scales for how much potential that it really has. So curious to see what it does. It'll be more appropriate, most appropriate to talk about where the all-time highs will be after this next move is over. After all, $1.65 from 9 cents in itself is quite the accomplishment to achieve. We'll see if we even get there, but that is the expectation, to actually go above that, even go above $2. So we'll see how that goes. I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. From a daily perspective, the daily RSI looks good, looks set up to start moving higher. We bounced off the 40. I like it. From a 4-hour RSI perspective, we're kind of in a spot where we might pull back a little bit, and that's fine. Don't be surprised at all, being at 9.2 cents now. Don't be surprised at all if we pull back down to about 8.2 cents, 8 cents itself, somewhere in that range, a little bit below this low. And then from there, we'll start to recover and grow, probably sometime next week, right? I think over the coming days we do this. Late this week or early next week, we'll start to recover and go. I'll let you guys know whenever I buy back into Cookie Dow. I sold some just before making this video now. And whenever I buy back in, ideally it'll be lower prices, and I'll let you guys know before or after I do that. Okay, take care, hit the like button, subscribe, bye bye.